Here's another set that has a look which could only be part of the 70s. The 1975 Topps set is highly sought after by collectors due to the plethora of stars and rookies, not to mention the bold 3D text and bright color layout. Some argue that the two-tone border takes away from the pose or action photos. Others are driven to the delightful combinations. This is one of those designs that I was immediately attracted to when growing up and discovering cards. Of the 660 count release, numbers 1 to 132 are in shorter supply than the rest of the set. For the first time in a Topps set, this release kicks off with a handful of record-breaker mentions. Highlighted towards the middle of the run is a historical recap of all regular season MVPs in both leagues, going all the way back to 1951. League leaders and postseason highlights make their way back as well. Collectors are aware of the star power showing their faces for the first time in this release. Rookie cards of George Brett, Robin Yount, Gary Carter, and Jim Rice make this an all-time popular set. And that's not even mentioning the inclusion of dozens of established stars. There are no errors or variations, making this set's acquisition an easy adventure. Uncorrected cards to note: number 120 Steve Busby is actually Fran Healy. Larry Haney, who had a repeat picture in consecutive releases back in the 60s, doesn't even make the cut on his own card number 626. It shows Dave Duncan instead. The colored borders that bleed into each card's edge make it difficult to find in high grades due to chipping and edge wear. Many cards are also found miscut or poorly centered. In a previous video, I briefly mentioned about the interest given to separate issues of Topps collectible items, often known as oddballs. Topps has released coins, tattoos, stamps, fold-out posters, jumbo cards, 3D cards, and so much more. Some were test issues, and others were specific to a certain region of the country. In 1975, Topps tried a smaller version of its base set in the Midwest and West Coast. The minis, as they're referred, are basically identical reproductions, yet about 20% smaller, measuring 2 1/4 inches by 3 1/8 inches. Much tougher to come by, a mini set tends to run about 1.5 times more than the regular issue. This set complements my 1974, as it was won as part of the same auction lot back in 1999. A handful of stars were already graded, including a couple of very fresh-looking rookies. As for upgrading, I found just 5 cards with miscut issues, none of which will be difficult to find. These have the similarities of the off-centered cards from the last few sets I'm working on. Thanks for watching, and check out future videos which will follow and update my progress in finishing this and other vintage sets. The next video shows one of the easiest purchases made by me in compiling a complete set. More fun with color banners is on the way as we take a look at the 1976 Topps set.